like the Clintons, like the Bidens, like the Bushes, like the Obamas, and many others. The United States government is run by a bunch of criminals, a bunch of lying, conniving, prevaricating thieves and crooks. Now, for the record, I campaigned for and I voted for Donald Trump to stop the Clinton crime machine. Now, this guy, no sooner than he gets elected, has a victory party where he invites Hillary Clinton and Bill, and he praises Hillary Clinton and tells the whole world how he admires her and has great respect for her, and gets the entire room to stand up and give her a standing ovation. This is my message to the American people and to the people of planet Earth. I've watched all the evidence. I've seen all the testimony. I watched the hearings. Donald Trump, just like Hunter Biden and just like Joe Biden, is guilty as guilty gets. This dog and pony show, bunch of smoke and mirrors, is the epitome of the swamp. And Rudy Giuliani is the biggest turd floating. Rudy Giuliani is nothing but a freaking mob lawyer from New York. And it's sickening. It's disgusting that Rudy Giuliani's being stuck in America's face. And this absolute pathetic loser, Jay Sekulow, from the so-called American Center for Law and Justice. What an absolute power-mongering fraud. Now, I'm going to explain why I just said all that I did. Massive amounts of so-called money, trillions in banknotes, Federal Reserve notes, helicopter money, quantitative easing, fiat trash. Trillions have been stolen out of the American economic system, while we've got this zombie brain-dead scam called QAnon. QAnon's nothing but a freaking joke, an absolute joke of somebody's idea of mental illness, I suppose. And then you've got this guy, Don Trump, talking about the swamp. But he never defines it. He never defines the swamp, and he never gives any sort of particulars about exactly what the swamp is. Same thing goes for the so-called deep state. All these are keywords. They're keywords to stir up people's emotions. It's like this stupid picket fence that they built along the U.S.-Mexican border. That picket fence can be climbed by a second grader with a simply fabricated climbing jig. And if you really want to get down to it, that picket fence, you can pass all kinds of dope through that fence. Dope will go right through that fence like there's nothing stopping it. I mean, you can pass the narcotics right through the pickets. It's a farce. Donald John Trump, your great big pork barrel project, it's all pork barrel. And you didn't get Mexico to pay for it either, Don. I guess you lied about that one too. But back to this impeachment thing. Down below in this video, you're welcome to take all the time, all the effort that you want, and look into the looted banking system. How the banking system is massively looted, and the scammers and the crooks that perpetrated those crimes, well, they are the biggest campaign contributors in the country. And they are very well protected by people like Sessions, Christopher Wray, and William Barr. The FBI and the Department of Justice is protecting these people beyond belief. Case in point, I worked for nearly a year with the U.S. Marshals and the Department of Justice in getting a mortgage company served down in Tampa Bay, Florida. Endlessly sought the service of summons and complaint on Premier Mortgage Funding in Tampa Bay, Florida. Well, the Marshal Service and Department of Justice were finally able to locate the skipping, evasive founder of Premier Mortgage Funding. That would be Gerald Cugno. They took months finding him, and they finally got the correct address out of dozens. This guy's got dozens of skip tracing, dead-end addresses. And the marshals were finally able to serve him in a case involving Credit Suisse, Deutsche Bank, JP Morgan Chase, and a bunch of other banks for violations of the Bank Secrecies Act, conspiracy, fraud, and racketeering. All of these banks were massively involved in money laundering. And every single one of these banks fund and contribute to Donald Trump's real estate empire and other businesses. They provide huge amounts of credit and money to his children and his closest inner circle. And the campaign contributions to Donald Trump from these crooked banks, and the Clintons, and the Bushes, and the Obamas, and Pelosi, and Maxine Waters, and Adam Schiff, and Bernie Sanders. I can go all day long, from Elizabeth Warren to Dianne Feinstein, and on and on and on and on. Michael Bloomberg's involved with all these crooked jerk banks. And they stole trillions. And what do we get for swamp draining? We get this dog and pony show at Donald Trump's. It's been a never-ending fiasco, and it's a dog and pony show of Donald Trump this, Donald Trump that, Nancy Pelosi this, all it is a fight between the Trump administration and the Democrats, while all these bankster, stinking, thieving slobs have walked off with trillions. Trillions have been looted, while Donald Trump cooks up QAnon and carries on with Jay Sekulow like a couple of John Gottis. John Gotti acts this way. Al Capone acted this way. Richard Nixon acted this way. Bill and Hillary Clinton it's the Bill and Hillary Clinton show, the sequel, The Return, Part 2. Donald Trump's heaping praise and respect upon Hillary Clinton at his victory party is the most disgusting display of a two-faced snake I've ever seen in my life. Now, is he guilty as the Congress found him and filed the particulars of an impeachment? And the answer is, yeah, he is. I've watched all the evidence. I've watched all the testimony, and it's not made up lies. It's not fraud. He got caught. But the Republican Party will go to the ends of the earth defending this guy because they want to keep a hold of that power. They want to keep those campaign contributions flowing into their pockets. The Democrats and the Republicans that are currently running the United States government are absolutely pathetic and sickening. Now, folks, I'm going to provide the links below. If anybody's got information to the contrary about how these banks have bought the system, well, you make sure you send in your comments and you send in your information. But these bankster, stinking slobs of both the Republican Party and the Democrat Party, the Green Party, the Constitutional Party, the Independents, the whole system is rotten to the core. And this is why again and again and again and again, the American people are being suckered into bailing it out for trillions upon trillions upon trillions of reserve notes. Hell, the money, even the money's fake. Take one of the brand new pennies and break it in half. Take a couple pairs of pliers, and break a penny in half. Or cut it in half with some tin snips. And tell the world what's on the inside of that copper looking, that, I guess it's a copper plating. I don't even think it's copper. It just looks like copper. It's zinc. They even stole the freaking copper. And the American public are just, I don't know, I guess they're clueless. Absolutely brain dead zombies and asleep at the switch. Most of the American public. It's pathetic. So folks, I'm going to leave it right there. I can go on and on and on, but Donald Trump, you're nothing but a mobster clown from Manhattan. And you and the Triad Development gang of Khashoggi and Gabonifar and North and Secord and Poindexter and Casey and Bud McFarlane and Michael Atkinson and that whole bunch from BCCI, Roger Altman, Clark Clifford, the entire scam that you've been associated with Don Trump for the last 30 years in New York is sickening. Donald Trump, you should resign. You should have the honor to resign. But you don't. You're the most arrogant, narcissistic bullshit artist I've seen in a long, long time. And what did you do as soon as you took the reins of power in America? You went on building your family's future and fortune, and you engaged in this totally, pathetically fraudulent draining of the swamp. Hell, you haven't even told the American people what the swamp is. You can't even tell the American people what the hell the deep state is. And this joke, this absolute psychotic farce of mental illness, QAnon, give me a freaking break, America. The whistleblower, you want to know who the whistleblower is, Don Trump? That would be this guy right here. Take a look at the links below. You want to talk about a whistleblower, Don Trump? Look at the links below. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, hasta la vista, God bless, and you betcha, we're coming back.